Metra just made a big move, announcing hundreds of millions in upgrades, promises of reliability, talk of transformation, and with that, fare hikes. If you live anywhere near a Metra train station, which in Chicagoland is quite a few people, this video is about your transportation lifeline to Chicago, affecting commutes, jobs, and honestly, your home value more than you probably realize. Because Metra isn't just a train system, it's the economic bridge between downtown Chicago and the suburbs. And this year, Metra is making one of its biggest financial and infrastructure pushes in decades. And in order to do so, it's asking riders to pay a little bit more. In this video, I'm breaking down what Metra is actually doing, what the future really holds, what it could mean for commuters and suburban life, and how this could quietly affect housing demand and home values around the 243 stations across Chicagoland. Let's get into it. Here's what's on the table. Metra unveiled a $1.1 billion operating budget for this year, and it includes a projected $68 million shortfall, which means we could see a 13 to 15% ticket price increase depending on your zone, of course. And they actually gave examples. A one-way ticket across all zones would see slight increases, as you can see on the chart on this screen. Monthly passes will be hit and increasing too, seeing moderate increases to offset costs, with zones 1 through 4 getting hit with an increase of $20 a month. Nothing too major, but still not fun to be paying that little bit extra. Now let me know in the comments what you think of this proposal, because Metra isn't positioning this as a pay more for the same thing upgrade. They're positioning it as pay more to avoid service cuts while they continue to invest heavily in reliability. And the investment piece is where this gets real. Metra also proposed a $575 million capital plan, meaning capital expenditures for the tangible stuff: trains, tracks, bridges, signals, and stations, the things that actually determine whether your commute is a smooth ride or a nightmare. And here's how Metra's capital plan actually breaks down. It's about $268 million into new or rehabilitated train cars, nearly $70 million for bridges and track structures, roughly $60 million into signals, electrical, and communications, and another $60 million for stations and parking. Now these upgrades, it's everyone's hope, especially those that ride the train each and every day. This results in less mechanical failures, fewer signal issues, safer bridges, and more reliable service. And if you've commuted long enough, you know reliability isn't a luxury. It's pretty much the whole game. Now, if Metra comes through with these promises, it won't be a quick fix, but gradual upgrades over time. And I say this because Metra also acknowledged shortfall projections of $276 million for 2027 and $305 million in 2028 if long-term funding isn't addressed. And with the federal government withholding funding to the state of Illinois right now, it could get a little interesting. And this brings us to the bigger picture, which is Illinois just signed a law providing $1.5 billion in annual funding to rescue and revamp public transit. And that law takes effect June 2026, which basically avoids the so-called transit fiscal cliff and pushes agencies like Metra to focus on performance and reliability. That changes things because now transit agencies aren't just asking for patience while upgrades are being done. They're operating under funding structure tied to performance and long-term sustainability. This isn't 2020 emergency mode anymore. This is a restructure, and Metra either adapts to the hybrid commuter era or slowly becomes irrelevant. This is why it might be more real than usual, because the funding conversation is no longer theoretical. It's happening in policy, budgets, and measurable performance. So what does this all mean for commuters and even non-commuters? If Metra becomes more reliable, three things could happen. One, more people are willing to commute by train again, especially hybrid workers who are on 2 to 3 days downtown Chicago schedule. That's the sweet spot where Metra actually wins. Number two, towns with strong Metra access become even more attractive because people want options. Maybe they drive sometimes, but they want the train as that backup plan that actually works. And number three, you start to see subtle shifts in demand, not overnight, but over a few years, towards communities where commuting is actually easier and less stressful. Now, let's be honest, this isn't all upside. Fare hikes actually hurt, and I'm sure there will be fair share of backlash from commuters. Construction and upgrades will cause temporary inconvenience, and Metra still has credibility to rebuild, but history shows when transit reliability improves, demand strengthens. When demand strengthens, prices follow. not overnight, but steadily over time. That's when you see people rethink location strategy as access continues to remain a premium, because in Chicagoland, commuter convenience is a form of currency. And that brings us to homeowners across Chicagoland. If you live near a Metra line, especially if you're within walking distance and reliability improves over the next few years, that strengthens your equity position. Home values and markets change, but the big idea doesn't. If Metra can improve its infrastructure and service, and downtown Chicago access becomes more pleasant, these train towns, they stay in demand because buyers moving here from either out of state or out of Chicago usually ask me, how bad is the commute from this location? And it's powerful to provide an answer with pretty good, and it's enjoyable for most. And if you're curious what your home might be worth right now, especially if you live in a commuter town with a train station, check the description below for a complimentary home evaluation. I'll send you a real range based on what's actually moving in your neighborhood so that you can plan ahead. And if you want another example of a major infrastructure story that's reshaping demand across Chicagoland, watch my video on the O'Hara expansion project, because that's the exact type of regional project that will affect all of Chicagoland, including commute times, job opportunities, where people desire to live, and eventually home prices as well. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think these Metra upgrades are the start of a real comeback, or does this feel like higher fares with more broken promises? Drop a comment and let me know. I genuinely want to hear from you. And if you're in Chicagoland and want more breakdowns of projects just like this, make sure to like this video and subscribe. But for now, I'll see you on the next one.